Hello everyone, welcome back. As you can see, I'm playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe again, and today I'm going to be showing off the Moon Cup, and actually continue the rant from my previous video, because I'm still annoyed by it. But a continuation of the rant in a new direction, kind of. Same annoying nonsense, but, you know, different subject, kind of. But anyway, we've got the Moon Cup here. You have the Berlin Byways from Tour. You have Peach Gardens from the DS. You have Merry Mountain, which is a brand new one. Another cool track there. And then you have Rainbow Road from the 3DS, which is actually one of the more interesting ones. It's one of those tracks where it changes every lap, which is always fun. So let's get right into it. To continue the rant in a new direction, microtransactions, as annoying as they are, I think something even more annoying than that is the proliferation of the Season Pass games, where in one aspect I do like them because, like, for instance, Destiny 2 is a game that I play pretty frequently, but there are certain seasons where it's like right now with the Season of the Deep, or no, that's the next one. This one's the Season of the whatever, Season of the Jump in the Water. I don't know what they called this one, but the idea is cool, but every season is the same, where it's like, oh, it starts off, it's cool, and then they add a new game mode, or maybe even two new game modes, like this one you have Deep Dive and Salvage, but then it just evolves into play it 50 times a week, and it's not fun. It's like, okay, cool, you know, the gameplay, you know, Salvage is cool, the Deep Dive is cool, but then when you play it for the 30th time this week, it's just like, oh my god, enough. And every week they're like, oh yeah, play it 5 times to get powerful gear, and then next week, play it 5 times to get powerful. It becomes very tedious and obnoxious, especially when you're not doing it for fun, you're doing it for getting gear so that you can have fun. It's just, that aspect of it has never been cool. I would never like that in any of these live service games. But that's just the main takeaway, is that it's like, it really hit me when I was playing the Master Chief Collection earlier, just because I was, you know, want some nostalgia, just be able to play a game and not have to worry about any of that crap. Because they do it in a way, I think modern Halo does it better than any other company, where I gotta give 343 a shout out. Their microtransactions are horrible, I will say, to go back to the previous point that I made in the last video. They do the same kind of garbage where it's like $20 for weapon skins and character skins. It's just ridiculous, like unacceptable. There's no other way to put it. But the one thing I will give them credit for is that whenever they do the season pass and any of that stuff, it just gets added to a catalog. So instead of being like, oh, you have 2 or 3 months to do all this stuff, and you better hope to God you get it, because if you want it later down the road, like if you want the symbiote Spider-Man skin in Fortnite, you're screwed. You'll never get that again. It's like that kind of stuff just really sucks. And the way that 343 does it, in both the Master Chief Collection and Halo Infinite, is that a new season comes out and it just gets added to a catalog. And then if you want skins, why did I do that early? If you want the skins or weapon skins or whatever that comes in that season, you can literally just come back to the game 2 years later and then scroll back through and be like, I want to put myself on the Season 1 track. And then you can just get the rewards for Season 1. And then, you know, halfway through it, you're like, yeah, you know what, I actually want to start focusing on Season 3. You can do that. And there's no problem there. But then you have all these current games, like Fortnite is the worst example of it. And, you know, Bungie does it now too, with Destiny 2. But just this idea that you have this 3-month period. If you want the stuff in there, you play it during that period. If you don't, you'll literally never have it for the rest of your life. Which sucks, because how are you supposed to incentivize new players? Like Fortnite, for instance. You play Fortnite and you're like, you know what, I really like Venom. They're like, oh, great. He's $15 and he's in the item shop. So, you know, he'll rotate in every now and then. Maybe, we'll see. And then the same person, or maybe even a different guy, is like, you know what, well, my favorite character is Iron Man, or my favorite character is Doom. And then it's like, oh, well, guess what, you're never going to be able to play as them. You know why? Because they were in a season pass from, like, Season 9 or whatever they came out in. So they try to make it like, oh, I have to play this now because I'll never get the skin again. But really, all they're doing is just pressuring their current players to play to the point that they get burnt out and just don't want to play the game anymore. Which is currently where I'm at with Fortnite. I haven't even touched the new season. I saw Optimus Prime and I was like, that's pretty cool, but not cool enough to jump in. But it really just gives you that fatigue to where somebody who would have been playing the season is not going to, because you've made it such a grindy hellfest. And then new players come in and they're like, oh wow, that Spider-Man skin's cool, where do I get that? And they're like, oh, you'll actually never be able to get it. So it creates an environment of FOMO to the worst extent. Where it's like, fear of missing out, but you're always going to be missing out. So there's no point. It's not like, wow, this thing's cool, you need to get in on this. It's like, this thing was cool and it already happened and it'll never happen again. It's very stupid. I can't stand that aspect. So yeah, that's the continuation of my microtransactions rant. Because I got that when playing Destiny, where I completed the quest for the season, and then I was just like, yeah, that's good. I'll come back next season, see if... Because even the deep skins, or whatever they call it, what is this stupid season? Season of the Jump in the Water is just what I'm going to call it. Because the next one's Season of the Deep. But it's confusing, because this one is deep in the literal sense that you're diving in the water, and the next season's all about the hive. So obviously it's going to be Season of the Deep for that reason. But either way, just it's very obnoxious. It's an obnoxious model that too many companies are falling for, and everyone hoped Bungie was better, but once they split from Activision, it was just like, oh no, they're both bad. It wasn't just Activision. Oh no. So that was a pretty sad realization. But yeah, it's just the overall state of the industry is just so bad. I don't know how else to say it. Because again, to bring up Elden Ring, which, even if you don't like Elden Ring, there are plenty of other examples of games that are just fun, like Hades, for instance. Like, let's not even use big million-dollar companies. Or I guess Supergiant probably is now. But they're still in the indie range when that game came out. Probably still are considered an indie studio. And of course I get it right at the end. At least I got second. But you play a game like Hades, and I probably put easily 500 hours into that game. And it was just, that was it. You know, it was a $30 release, I think. Or maybe even 25, and I think I got it on sale too. I got it for the Switch when it came out. But that's another perfect example where you bought the game, you play it for hundreds and hundreds of hours, it has interesting gameplay, and you want to come back for the game. You don't want to come back because the game's like holding you hostage and saying, you better play me during the month of October. And if you don't, you're going to miss out on everything. And then next month, you're going to have to play again, because now the November skins are here. And it's just like a never-ending cycle. Whereas you have a game that's just fun like Hades, you play it, that's it. You come back to it because you want to play it again. That's what, should be your incentive when making a game. Not, how can we make this fun game? Like, let's take Diablo 4, for instance. Very good game, as far as gameplay is concerned. Very much enjoyed it. It was a lot better in the sense of the way Diablo 3 kind of started, where it was very arcadey. This one brought back, the skill trees and all that cool stuff. The problem is, the end game really comes to a screeching halt. And then what they basically want you to do at that point, is they're like, yeah, there's really not much left to do. So, just keep repeating these dungeons and just do, like, the Tree of Whispers. And then also just head over to the shop real quick and buy these skins that are a minimum of $10. Up to $20, thank you. And it's just like, it's so frustrating. What's even more frustrating is half the skins in this shop kind of suck. So it's like, you pay $10 for worse gear than you can get in the game. Because they have the whole transmog system, so you don't even need to, like, find the coolest armor. You just find it once, you break it down, transmog it, and now you can just permanently make all of your gear look like the cool gear. You don't pay for it. Because there's cooler stuff that you can find in the game than you can buy in the shop. So it's just pointless. And there's even one that confuses the hell out of me. For the Rogue, there's like a Plague Doctor skin. You literally get that skin in the game. Like, I don't know why that's... And technically it's different armor sets, but it doesn't make any sense. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, it has like the pointy Plague Doctor nose and all that. But I swear, not only can you get that mask in the game, maybe it's like a slight variation where they're like, oh, we made it look more Plague Doctor-y. But you can literally get that mask as the Rogue without having to pay for it, just by playing the game, and just paint it green. It's like it's so pointless, a lot of the stuff in the shop is, when you really break it down. It's such a mess. And it sucks too when it's a game that I enjoy playing. Like Overwatch 2, I probably played 30 minutes, an hour maybe, of Overwatch 2. That's probably even being generous. I don't even know how many games I played. Overwatch 1, however, I played a lot. I played way too much Overwatch 1. Eventually I got burnt out. Like the first 3 or 4, I think by the 5th season is when I started getting burnt out. But I was literally like trying to get Diamond every season and all that, just playing constantly. And Overwatch 2 is, abysmal. Like, just the way they even just changed the game on top of that. in a worse way. They turned it from a 6v6 to a 5v5, which just messed up the entire flow of the game was just gone at that point. And I don't know what the hell they were thinking. But yeah, as I play this fun, complete game here, obviously they're releasing DLCs and stuff like that for it, but it's done in a way that the classic games used to do it, where you got a complete game. If you want more, you buy relatively cheap expansions. Like, the expansion for this, if you have the Nintendo Online, is just flat out free, which is the way that I'm doing it. But even just to buy it outright, I think it's like, what, $50 for the whole pack? And you're getting a ridiculous, like, 48 tracks, something like that. Like, look at how much detail is just in this one track alone. Everything involved. You have, like, all these players on it just racing on the same track at the same time. You have all these assets, all this new content of being able to drive on a new track. You have shortcuts and everything involved. Compare that to the cost of this. There are packs, there are skin packs that literally cost as much as DLC packs these days. Like how they'll do like, oh, you know, this is this season pass where it's $50 and you get like 4 DLCs as the release. There are literally games, and Sea of Thieves is a big problem with this too. Another game that I find incredibly fun, but that stuff is really greedy. That they'll literally have a ship that in order to master it, like to get the master collection, is $40. And it's not just a ship. I should specify. It is every ship, like in order to get the mastery for it. Because the regular is it's just a measly $23 to get the ship cosmetics, which is just insane on its own. And then they'll have like 2 mastery items that are like $7 each usually, typically $7.99. So you spend $40 for, let's say, the Black Pearl, like if you want it for, you know, the pirate, what do you call that, stupid, those movies, Pirates of the Caribbean, yeah, that's what it is, where they did that crossover. If you want the Black Pearl to look exactly as it should, $40 please, thank you. And then if you want a pirate skin, that's another $10. So it's just insane. And again, another example, most of the ship cosmetics you can unlock in the game look cooler than anything that you can buy in the store. Like, there's certain ones, I think it's like the Dark Warsmith, which granted costs a lot of gold in the game. But at least it looks better than most of the cosmetics that you can pay for. So I don't know, it's a strange world we live in for gaming. Like, it's like the best gaming's ever been, while it's also the worst. It's just such a weird time to live in. Like, you have some of the best games ever being released in this time span, but then you also just have, like, the greediest garbage you can possibly imagine. Like, everyone's praising Baldur's Gate 3 right now. And you occasionally will have games like that just release, everyone loves it, that's it. That's all. And that's all she wrote. But then in the meantime, you'll have, like, 30 games that release alongside it that are just like, oh, yeah, we're just a scam. That's all we are. We want all of your money all the time. Alright, so I just ranted across all 4 tracks. I got real heated talking about the season passes. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I can go on for hours. It's very frustrating. But anyway, that was another one of my Mario Kart COVID series. If you're confused and didn't see the first one, I have COVID. So that's why I'm actually having time to be able to go through and make videos again. Hopefully I can do it more regularly soon. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting way to jump back in. Wasn't expecting it. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.